All right, folks, get ready to go deep underground, as today we're diving headfirst into the world of mind management.
We're going beyond the obvious, beyond just the digging and the blasting, to really understand what it takes to run these complex operations, these places that bring us, well, pretty much everything, from our smartphones to the bridges we drive on.
We're talking about those massive, large-scale mines you see in documentaries sometimes, right?
Yeah.
The ones with gigantic equipment and these what seem like endless tunnels.
Exactly. And at the center of it all, making sure it all runs smoothly, that's the mine manager. And it's not just about being an expert in mining, it's about being a leader, a strategist, and thinking about the people and the environmental impact too.
It sounds like a lot. And we've got a ton of RoleCatcher resources on this, and honestly, it's pretty eye-opening stuff, wouldn't you say? This goes way beyond just grabbing a bigger hammer,
Yeah,
right?
100%. One of the biggest things RoleCatcher really emphasizes is just how much responsibility a mine manager actually has. I mean, you've got production targets to hit, worker safety is paramount, and then you have to think about the mine's impact on the environment. Oh, and did I mention the constantly changing regulations?
It's like they're juggling chainsaws while riding a unicycle across a tightrope.
Pretty much.
And speaking of chainsaws, RoleCatcher mentions this statutory responsibility for safety. What does that actually mean, especially in the context of a mine? A place with, let's be honest, some inherent dangers.
That's a really important point. Statutory responsibility basically means that the law itself, it holds the mine manager directly accountable for following all those safety regulations.
Yeah.
You know, the ones that are there to prevent accidents and keep the workers safe. We're talking about a huge legal and ethical obligation that plays a big part in every decision they make. Imagine, every single day, hundreds of lives depend on the choices you're making.
Wow, that's a lot of weight on your shoulders. It goes way beyond just meeting deadlines and getting the resources out of the ground, right? It's about making sure those workers go home safe to their families every single day.
You got it. And it goes even further. Think about the environmental side of things for a minute. These days, mine managers, they're tasked with using all kinds of innovative techniques to lessen their impact, to keep the environment as safe as possible. One example, just to give you a taste, is bioleaching, and another is bioremediation. Pretty cool stuff, actually.
Bio what now? Those sound incredibly complicated.
They are complex for sure, but incredibly interesting. Okay, so bioleaching uses tiny microorganisms, like little helpers, to pull metals directly from the ore. This way, you're using fewer harsh chemicals, which is a win for the environment. Then there's bioremediation. This one uses microbes again, but this time to clean up any soil or water that's been contaminated. It's like using nature to heal nature, really cutting-edge stuff. And as you can imagine, a mine manager needs to be on top of all of it.
Okay, so we're talking serious brain power here.
Mhm.
And not just the scientific kind either.
Mhm.
RoleCatcher also mentioned things like handling the budget, procuring equipment, and even community relations. It's like they're running a small city down there.
That's a great way to put it. And don't forget about all that massive specialized equipment they're responsible for. We're talking massive machines like continuous miners that just chomp through solid rock and longwall shearers that extract coal with unbelievable precision. These aren't your everyday tools, that's for sure.
It sounds like you need a PhD just to figure out the instruction manual. So how does someone even start on the path to becoming a mine manager? Is it all about getting degrees and tons of certifications?
Well, you definitely need a strong educational foundation, that's for sure. RoleCatcher mentions that a bachelor's degree in mining engineering, or something similar, you know, a related field, that's kind of the minimum you'd be looking at. You'll be deep diving into some pretty intense subjects, things like geology, mine design, how to process minerals, and of course, all those safety regulations.
So it sounds like hitting the books is just as crucial as hitting the rock face, right?
100%. But it's more than just memorizing textbooks, of course. You got to remember, you're dealing with seriously complex machinery, a whole team of people, and let's be honest, potentially dangerous conditions every day. Experience, real-world experience, that's non-negotiable. You got to bridge that gap between what the books say and how things actually work out there.
Yeah, I can imagine those practical skills are earned the hard way, out in the field, no shortcuts there.
No shortcuts at all. A lot of people, those who are serious about becoming mine managers, they start out in entry-level positions, you know, working their way up. That hands-on experience, that's what gives them the deep understanding of how things really operate day to day, the kinds of challenges that can pop up out of nowhere, and the absolute importance of having a strong safety culture ingrained in everyone.
It's kind of like an old school apprenticeship,
Yeah.
but with the added bonus of, well, potentially explosive consequences if you make a mistake. Haha.
That might be a slightly dramatic way to put it, but yeah, you're not wrong. The stakes are definitely high. That's why those practical skills are so vital. You have to be able to size up a risky situation, make a second decision, and lead your team effectively, even when things are getting a little hairy. And speaking of teams, RoleCatcher really stressed the importance of leadership and communication skills. Those are huge.
So it's not enough to just be a tech whiz. You have to be a people person too, huh?
Exactly. Mind managers need to motivate their teams, that's a big one, but also be able to communicate complex ideas clearly so everyone's on the same page. And when conflicts come up, which they inevitably do, you need to be able to resolve them effectively. Oh, and on top of all that, they're also the ones responsible for putting that company's code of conduct into practice, the one that sets the ethical and professional standards for the whole operation.
I bet that code of conduct carries a lot of weight, especially in an environment like that, right? Where risks are high, you can't afford to have people cutting corners when lives are potentially at stake.
No kidding. That code of conduct, that covers everything. We're talking safety procedures, how they're handling their environmental responsibility, making sure the materials are sourced ethically, even how they engage with the local community. It's all about running the mine responsibly and sustainably in every aspect of the operation.
So it's way more than just digging things up and making a profit. It's about doing it the right way, with integrity, respecting the people and the environment in the whole process.
Exactly. And, that brings us to another crucial skill. Problem solving. Mines, they're constantly changing environments. Things rarely go exactly as planned. You could have equipment malfunctions, unexpected geological surprises. Even a sudden change in weather can throw a wrench into everything.
That sounds like a high-pressure job for sure. You'd have to be cool as a cucumber under pressure, able to think on your feet, come up with a solution when everyone else is panicking.
That's the name of the game. A mine manager, they could be looking at a critical equipment failure, one that brings everything to a screeching halt. Or maybe they find a geological anomaly, something totally unexpected, and they have to change the entire mining plan on the fly. And then there are safety incidents. Those demand immediate action, a full investigation, the whole 9 yards.
It's like you need to be a master strategist, a skilled diplomat, and a bit of a detective all rolled into one.
That's a great analogy. And, we haven't even touched on the technology side of things, which is changing all the time. These days, a mine manager needs to be comfortable with everything from super advanced software that's used for mine planning and resource estimation to, get this, automation and robotics that are now being used in mining operations.
Wow. Talk about a far cry from the pickaxe and shovel days, huh? So to really make it in this field, it sounds like you need a crazy combination of technical expertise, top-notch leadership skills, and a whole lot of resilience. But let's be real, what about the downsides? Every job has them. What are some of the tough parts about this career path that nobody really talks about?
Yeah, it definitely sounds like there's never a boring day in the life of a mine manager. You can say that again, it's challenging, no doubt, but that's part of what makes it so rewarding, for the right kind of person, someone who thrives under pressure and wants to feel like they're making a real difference.
Makes sense. So let's dig into those challenges a bit. RoleCatcher doesn't sugarcoat things. They're pretty upfront about the demands of this job. What would you say are some of the biggest hurdles a mine manager faces?
Well, one of the biggest ones, and this is a constant balancing act, is juggling productivity and safety. I mean, mines are businesses. At the end of the day, they got to make money. And that means hitting those production targets. But, and this is a big but, those targets can never, ever come at the expense of worker safety or the environment.
It's like this high wire act, right? Making sure the mine's running efficiently, but also upholding the absolute highest standards for safety and environmental protection.
Exactly. And it's not just about following the rules someone wrote down in a book somewhere. It's about creating a culture of safety where every single person on the team feels comfortable speaking up, if they see something that looks off, a potential hazard, anything like that.
So it's about strong leadership, clear communication, and building that environment of trust and mutual respect, right?
100%. And then on top of that, there's this constant need to stay ahead of the game. Mining is changing all the time. New tech is popping up. Regulations are updated. Sustainability practices are evolving. It's a lot to keep up with.
Sounds like continuous learning is non-negotiable in this line of work.
It's essential. A mine manager's got to stay on top of the latest and greatest in mining engineering, safety protocols, you name it. Even data analytics is becoming a big deal in mining these days. A lot of them go to industry conferences, take courses, get certifications, all to stay sharp.
Wow, so the learning never really stops, does it? It extends way beyond just the day-to-day operations of the mine itself.
Nope. Not even close. And you know what else? Managing people, that's a whole other challenge in itself. Mines, they employ people from all walks of life, different skills, different backgrounds. Everyone brings something unique to the table. A good mine manager, they need to be able to communicate effectively with everyone, build strong relationships, and when conflict arises, which it always does, they need to be able to deal with it fairly and efficiently.
It's about building a team, a real team, where everyone feels valued and respected, which I imagine can be tough in such a high-pressure environment.
For sure. And then, on top of everything else, there's the unpredictable nature of the work itself. Mines can be in pretty remote and unforgiving locations, think extreme weather, unexpected geological formations, maybe even political instability depending on where you are in the world.
It sounds like you need to be adaptable, resourceful, a real problem solver, right?
Those are must-have qualities, absolutely. But you know what? Even with all those challenges, the rewards can be huge. RoleCatcher talks about the high earning potential, which is definitely a plus, but it's more than just the paycheck.
It's got to be about more than that. The satisfaction of leading a team, solving complex problems, knowing that you're making a tangible contribution to the world, right?
Exactly. Mining, it provides the raw materials for so much of what we rely on in our daily lives: infrastructure, technology, even healthcare. As a mine manager, you're a vital part of a global industry, one that makes modern life possible.
That's a real sense of purpose, knowing that you're part of something much bigger than yourself.
It really is. And let's not forget the personal and professional growth that comes with navigating such a demanding and dynamic field. You're always learning, always adapting, pushing your boundaries, and for some people, that's incredibly rewarding in itself.
Sounds like the perfect career for someone who seeks out challenges, wants to be given real responsibility, and isn't afraid of a little hard work. And I mean that both literally and figuratively, right?
Yeah. Haha, yeah, you got it. Now, let's say someone out there is listening and they're thinking, this sounds like me. This sounds like the challenge I've been waiting for. What do they need to do to land that dream mine manager role?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
It all comes down to the interview, right? RoleCatcher actually provides some really interesting sample interview questions. What are some of the things that aspiring mine managers should be prepared to talk about?
Well, the first thing is the obvious one, right? Be ready to demonstrate your deep understanding of the technical stuff. Geology, mine design, ventilation, safety protocols, all of it. But it's not enough to just parrot back what you read in a textbook. Interviewers want to see how you think on your feet, how you'd approach real-world problems using that knowledge.
So be ready with those real-world examples from your own experience. How did you handle a safety-critical situation? What did you do to improve productivity or minimize the environmental impact? Things like that.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to toot your own horn a bit. Talk about your leadership skills, how you've motivated teams, resolved conflicts, fostered a positive work environment, all that good stuff. Highlight your ability to roll with the punches, adapt to new tech. Show them you're all about continuous improvement.
And I imagine a strong focus on safety is absolutely crucial, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Be prepared to discuss your safety track record, how you approach risk management, your commitment to that safety-first culture we talked about. Basically, show them that safety isn't just a box you check, it's a core value, something you truly believe in.
It's about walking the walk, not just talking the talk, right?
Yeah, you got it. And here's another tip. Don't be afraid to ask some insightful questions yourself. This shows the interviewer that you're really interested, that you've done your homework on the company, and that you're thinking about the bigger picture of the role and the future of the industry.
It's about showing them that you're not just looking for any job. You're looking for the right fit, a place where you can contribute and make a real impact.
Now you're getting it. And remember, an interview is a two-way street. It's a chance for you to see if the company's values align with your own, if the role offers the kind of growth and challenges you're looking for.
So to sum it up, do your research, be prepared to sell yourself and your skills, but most importantly, be authentic. Be yourself. Passion and genuine enthusiasm, those go a long way.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And one last thing for those who are serious about this path. Mining is a global community. Get out there and network, talk to people, go to industry events, join online forums, soak up all that knowledge and experience. It's invaluable.
It's about finding those mentors, those people who have walked the path before you and can help guide you along the way. Well, folks, it seems like we've unearthed a treasure trove of information today about this demanding, challenging, but ultimately rewarding career path.
We definitely dug deep, that's for sure. So for those of you out there who are feeling inspired, who are ready to take on the challenge of becoming a mine manager, remember, thorough research and preparation, Those are your best tools. And who knows, maybe one day we'll have you on the deep dive, sharing your own story.
And on that note, it's time to wrap up another deep dive. For everyone listening, remember, the journey of 1,000 tons begins with a single step, but it's got to be a well-informed one.
Aha, well said. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep digging deeper into the fascinating world around us.
We'll catch you on the flip side.